Hey folks, it's Dr. E. I just wanted to provide you with a video and some explanation regarding the assignments this week. I know there have been some sources of confusion and I can sense your frustration, and please know I'm frustrated as well, but frustrated at myself because I've named these assignments in a kind of confusing manner. So I'm going to try to dispel that confusion and answer some questions that I've received and just generally offer some clarification. If you haven't, go ahead and take a look at D2L where there is an update, and I've put some links to the reading journal assignment guidelines as well as the template that you can definitely, maybe should definitely use for that assignment, and then a link to the video that walks through step by step the expectations, right, of that assignment. What I'm going to do now is pull up a form that I just typed up that hopefully offers a little bit more, right? So this is just so that you have something at your fingertips if in a pinch you want to make sure that you're heading in the right direction. I will post this to D2L in the content overview area. But what I first want you to note is that I'm going to go ahead and from this point on rename our writing journals and reading responses, and those will now be known as writing posts and reading posts respectively. So I think part of the confusion is definitely coming from the fact that these two assignments have not only the term journal, but the term reading as well. So then having a reading journal assignment is a little off-putting, right? A little confusing. So let's avoid that. So I'm going to rename those things just to reiterate the idea that these are weekly posts. Okay. So again, these are weekly discussion assignments, right? We go to the discussion area of D2L, and these are meant to push us in terms of thinking about the way that we write, but also to think about the way that we read. Okay, so they are usually both connected to one or both of the assigned readings for that week, and it's just a way for us to kind of dig in. I'm always going to provide you with a specific prompt and instruction, so often I'll say, okay, in one paragraph of 6 to 7 sentences, do this. In another paragraph, do that. But overall, this comes down to a grade that's related to the rubric and information that's in the content overview area. So that is an assignment that is related to this specific handout that you can take a look at, which was offered in the first week of class, right? So these are different from our reading journal assignment because the reading journal is something that you will keep a running file of your notes for every single reading in the class, right? So this is a way not only for you to keep track of those readings and your ideas related to them, so that down the line when we're thinking about our paper portfolio assignment or our annotated bibliography assignment, which are all kind of related to essentially what we would talk about as a final project, paper project, but we are terming it a paper portfolio. You have everything there. You don't have to go back and reread anything. It's also a good way for me to not only see that you've been keeping up with your reading, but also to see if you are having any questions related to those readings, if there's been any source of confusion, so that I can offer some clarification if necessary. So this reading journal assignment has a separate video and handout with guidelines. And again, those are going to be in the content overview area of D2L. Okay, so rather than a discussion post for this assignment, you will have a document that you keep updating with entries from all the readings we've covered. So this first week, you should have entries for every reading we've covered from week 3, week 4, and week 5. That's why in week 3, I said, okay, you need to start this document, keep up with it for every reading. And additionally, for one of our posts that week, I said, okay, let's just practice. Let's just do one entry and use it as a post this week. That was just practice, y'all. That was not me saying every post you're going to copy and paste into this document. That's not what we're doing. So the reading journal is based on, your ideas from every reading, and we have a handout related to it. So that's where you're going to offer your summary, response, and quote. So I'm asking you to do something very specific with each reading. I'm not giving you a separate prompt to consider for those entries because this is, again, a separate assignment. Okay, after you submit your reading journal for this week, you're going to start a new document. right? So you've done the entries for weeks 3, weeks 4, and week 5, and now you start a new document starting with an entry for week 6, okay? And you'll keep a running tab of entries until that is due again, and you'll submit it then. This is going to be kept as a file that you'll upload in the assignment area of D2L, which was covered in the video for this week. It needs to be in Word format, right? So it's .doc or .docx. And you can also do it in PDF format, but the best way to go is just a Word file so that if I need to, I can go in and edit it for you and offer you some feedback there. You'll get feedback either way. So .doc, .docx, or .pdf. I can't grade what I can't open, so make sure you submit it in the right format. These entries, again, are separate from those discussion posts. So it's helpful to maybe review the video and guidelines that are posted in D2L. Okay. What I've also done is copied and pasted from the syllabus just so that you get a sense of how these are very separate assignments. The reading post and writing post, they're all in the discussion area. Those are weekly discussions that we have based on the readings and based on the prompts, right? And then the reading journal is something that's completely different. Cool? All right, I'm gonna also pull up the template because this is what your reading journal should look like. It should be in MLA format. I'm not sure why this is messed up here. So this will be your last name. So if you just double click up here, put your last name, and then double click outside, that means, see how it's grayed out? That means Microsoft Word will take care of the numbering. You should never have to manually enter that information. Go in, put your name here. I've already done that. What's the due date? Okay, and then here's where you'll insert your title and author. You'll offer your summary for that particular reading, a response, and then a quote with explanation. Remember in the handout for this assignment, I give you a sample, and it's just meant to be that. It's just a sample, just kind of an idea of where to go and what to think about with this assignment, but also how to format things like the title and author. There's a line here, and then you'll put the entry for the second reading. So for this week, you know, I should be scrolling down. I should have other entries. You know, for this week, I would insert the title about the misinformation chapter, right? And then you can always use Andrea Lunsford as the author, summary, response, quote. And y'all, it's just one summary for the entire reading, one response for the entire reading, one quote that you've chosen that's important from the entire reading, and then you explain why it's important, okay? And so each text we cover, so the next one for this week at least is going to be Ron Finley's TED Talk, right? So you put the title in quotation marks. Ron Finley is the speaker or author. Summarize the entire thing, respond to the entire thing, then quote the entire thing, okay? So this is just a running document. You'll have a line between them. I've given you the template here. It's also not a bad idea to maybe go back to our syllabus. It's always meant to be a source and a tool for you to utilize so you can refer to if you have points of confusion, if you need some clarification, because all the different assignments are noted here. They're very basic, right? This does not go into detail. That's why I give you the assignment guidelines and handouts and do videos, but it shows you how these things are separate. Okay, so we have annotation exercises, we have a paper portfolio that's coming at the end of the semester. That's when we're going to go back to some of our discussion posts and revise them, peer review them. That's later down the road, your final multimedia project. So we're still in this area and this area. Okay, that's where we are. If you go to D2L and go to content, remember in the overview area, if you click right here, it has all of the handouts and information. So the discussion post rubric you can revisit, the reading journal guidelines, rubric and example, and then the instructional video and the template. So, you know, I'm trying to keep all the major documents and information on this content overview page. Okay, let me go back to... So this is something that will go in that content overview area, just to offer you a bit, like I said, a bit of information that hopefully you find useful and helpful, and that relieves that pressure and that stress that you're feeling about these assignments, okay? Remember that in D2L, to submit your assignment, you need to go to the course activities area. That's where the assignment drop down is. This is where you'll go to submit your reading journal, right? So if you click on the assignment, so anything that's blue you can click on, right? And it shows the status is not completed, right? If you click on this, it has a few reminders here, it has information, and what you want to do is add your file. So make sure that you're saving that document in a name that you remember and that you can find easily. You just go searching for it. Once you find it, so I, for example, let me see if I can pull something up. Okay, just going to add something random right here. So you need to make sure that you give it time to upload. You can see that it is here, it is hyperlinked, so you can click and open it if you need to. Don't forget to click add. And y'all, this isn't the last step, right? Because it's D2L and it requires so many unnecessary clicks, but we know this so we can prepare for it. You'll see your file right here, okay? And then if you scroll down, you'll see the submit button. So once you click submit, right? It'll say file submission successful, and it will also send you a confirmation email so you can check your email and see that this was something that you actually submitted, so that you don't panic. Don't reach out to me and say, hey, did I turn it in? You can check on this stuff yourself. I would definitely recommend that you just double check everything, whether it's submitting a discussion post or submitting an assignment like this. You can always go in and double check that you've submitted your work successfully. You don't want to miss out on a grade because of just the fact that D2L is a little bit clunky and that you have to click in several areas to do a single thing. I'm going to click done. Okay, and then you'll see here, one submission, one file. You can click it and then you can actually double check it. Okay, so if you need to, go and click open, and you can view what you've submitted. What I also want you to note is that you can submit, so if you go back and you think, oh my gosh, did I submit the right thing? Maybe you didn't submit the right file. You can go in and add another file. I'm only going to grade what you submit the most recently. So if you submit something at 10 in the morning and then you submit something that same day at 11:58 right before the deadline, I'm going to grade that thing you submitted at 11:58, right? Because I'm going to assume that you caught something, you revised, you then uploaded the proper thing. I'm going to grade that. Okay, but I'm not going to search through 20 different assignments to see which one you might have submitted that's correct, right? I'm just going to grade the most recent submission. All right, y'all. I hope this has been somewhat helpful. If not, you can always reach out and let me know. But again, I really encourage you to utilize that Q&A area of our discussion board, because if you have that question, other people are going to have the same question. So just, don't be shy about that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set that discussion board to anonymous so that maybe you'll be more inclined to ask questions there if your name isn't connected to the question. I don't want you to feel, ashamed or anything to submit questions even with your name attached, but maybe that'll relieve a little bit of the stress related to asking your questions there. All right, y'all, I hope this has been helpful. Again, if not, just post your questions, or if worst comes to worst, you can send me an email and hopefully I can help you out. Good luck this week. We do have a heavier week, so just keep track of that. Remember that in the module for this week is an updated calendar, so you can check those things off your list, or make sure that you have some sort of way to schedule your work, even if it's not the calendar that I've uploaded. Find your own method. All right, take care.